Welcome to Raj Online Trainings and in the series of Hibernate 6 tutorial. In the last videos, we have created Hibernate 6 project using Maven, and in pym.xml file, we have added the project dependencies like one is Hibernate core dependency and one more MySQL connector. And we have created the Hibernate XML configuration file where the root tag is Hibernate-configuration. Under this SessionFactory, we have taken the properties of database connection. We have taken the driver class, URL, username and password. And we have created one utility class, Hibernate utility class, to get the SessionFactory. In this video, we'll be seeing how to insert an object of a class into the database table. So we are going to start off with the CRUD operations. We are going to start off with what? CRUD operations from this video onwards. So let us see today how to insert an object of a class into the table. So we are going to discuss today the insert operation. For that, let us create one entity class, a project class. So for that, under src main Java, you create a new package com.hibernate6.entity. Click on finish. I click on this com.hibernate6.entity and create a new class. Let me go with the name of the class as student. Go with the properties. We are going with the private properties. Private int student number. Private string student name. Private double marks. Generate getters and setters. How to generate? Right click and say source, and you can see the option generate getters and setters. Select all, generate. Now the project class, the entity class is ready. Now after creating this project class, we need to map our class with the database table, and we need to map our project class properties with the table columns. So for that, we need to create one Hibernate XML mapping file. So to create that Hibernate XML mapping file, we have to create under src main resources. So right click on src main resources and say new other. Choose this XML file and let us go with the name as student.hbm.xml. Click on finish button. Now we have to follow the templates for this XML files. So which template we need to use? Hibernate mapping XML file template. So you can get this template through Google also. Just search in Google Hibernate XML mapping templates, you will get it. Then copy this piece of code and paste over here. The root tag of this mapping file is Hibernate-mapping. Then start mapping your class with the table like this. So use the element class. The name of the class is com.hibernate6.entity.student. So we have to refer with the package. The project class name is student and referring to the table student. So we are mapping our class with the database table. And nothing rule that the class name and table name should be same. I can even go with the other table name like student info. Under this project class student, out of these three properties, which property can be unique here? Student number can be unique, which we call it as primary key. So how to generate primary key? We have to use the element ID, name equal to student number SNO, referring to the column of table SNO. Now we need to map our other properties with the table columns. So go with the property name, test name, referring to the column of table test name. One more property, name equal to marks, referring to the column of table marks. That's it. That completes our mapping file. So where we map our project class with the database table, project class properties with the table columns. And this ID is for primary key. This is to generate the primary key. And one more, nothing rule that the property name and column name should be same. I'm going with the column name as std name. Now save this file. Now, after creating this mapping file, we need to add this mapping file in our hibernate.cfg.xml file. So open this hibernate.cfg.xml file, which we have created in the last video, and under SessionFactory, we have provided the database connection properties. Now, so we need to do some more update into this file. The updates what we need to do is we need to load some more properties. That is property name equal to hibernate.dialect. The dialect what we are going to use here is MySQL dialect, that is present in org.hibernate.dialect.mysql dialect. As we are connecting to MySQL database, we are going to provide the dialect as what? MySQL dialect present in the package org.hibernate.dialect. And what is this dialect is? In Hibernate, we make use of the methods like persist or save method. We go for merge or update method. We make use of remove or delete method like this. We make use of the methods here in our Java class. So these methods internally will convert into respect to SQL command. So which database syntax it has to follow in order to convert into the respect to SQL command, that is the meaning of dialect here. You can say dialect means SQL command syntax. Dialect means SQL command syntax. We need to go add some more properties over here. That is property name equal to hibernate.connection.autocommit. So we are making this auto commit as false. In the program, we'll take care of doing the commit operations. One more property name equal to hibernate.showSQL. We are making it as true. I'll explain what is the use of this showSQL property once we run our test class. And one more very important property, that is property name equal to hibernate.hbm2ddl.auto create. We are going with the value create. So Hibernate mapping to data definition language create. And this is very important property, and very important property during your interview time also. The use of this property is like when we are using JDBC and we want to insert a record into the table. First of all, we need to create the table first. How to create table? At your MySQL prompt, that is at your database site, or in our Java program, we have to create a table using create table command. So by using create table command, but by using this property in Hibernate, the tables will get created automatically. So the use of this property is to create tables automatically. Now the final thing, we need to add the mapping resource. What is the name of the mapping file we have created? student.hbm.xml. In one Hibernate XML configuration file, we can add multiple mapping resources. So this completes our Hibernate configuration file. Save this file. Now the next step is we need to test our application. That is, we want to create object of this Pojo class, and we want to insert the object of this Pojo class into a database table. That's the objective now. So for that, let us right click on this com.hibernate6.test package and say new class. We are going with student insert. I want to do insert operation today. So go with main method. So the first step is we need to get the session factory. How to get the session factory? We have discussed it in the last video. Session factory equal to Hibernate util dot get session factory. When you call this method hibernate.get session factory, it will go to this util class and this method will get invoked, which is going to return the session factory object. So this session factory contains all these properties values. It holds all these properties values. Now we have to go with session. Session equal to session factory dot open session. So this session factory is for database connection and session is for database transactions like inserting, updating, deleting. These transactions we perform by using session. The next step, begin the transaction. Transaction x equal to session dot begin transaction. Import the package for transaction, which is present in org.hibernate.transaction. So these are the import statements for session, session factory, and transaction. Now create object of project class. Student stud equal to new student. Set the values. Import the package for student. Present in com.hibernate6.entity package. Set the values. Stud dot set snvo. I'm going with 111. Stud dot set sname. We are going with some name like Raj. Stud dot set marks, some marks 500. Now the object is ready with values. Now we want to insert this object into the database table. How to insert this object dot into table? By using session object, we call the method persist and password object. This method internal meaning is insert into student info. The name of the table is student info, values, your values. That's it. Now commit your transaction, close our session. That completes our application. Run this application, right click and say run as Java application. See here? See, it's going to show, see here, drop table if exist student info. It's creating the table student info and inserting the record into the table. If you want to see how SQL commands are getting executed internally in Hibernate XML configuration file, we make this property show SQL as. Now, check in your database, open your MySQL and go with the command. Select star from the name of the table here is student info. See, the record has been inserted into the table. Now, let us insert one more record. So let us change the values here. Set SNO 222, set name Ramu, set marks 600. Now, let us run this piece of code. When you run this piece of code, so we think that there are two records in the table, but if you check your database table, select star from student info, now you can see only one record. The reason behind that is, see the console to understand more what is happening behind. It's dropping table if it is existing and creating the new table and inserting the record. Since it is deleting the table, the record what we are having previously, that is also got deleted. The reason behind that is, in the Hibernate XML configuration file, we have taken this property HBM to ddl.auto as create. Whenever we use create, it always goes with new tables. Drop existing tables and create new tables. In order to use the existing tables, we need to use the property value as update. Use the property value as update, and when we go with update, this is used for to use existing tables. In order to use the existing tables, we make use of the property value as update. Now check it here. After making the property value as update, come back to our student insert code and let us change the student number as 111, the name as Raj, and marks as 500. And once we save it and when we run the application, see, it is doing only this insert operation. And if you check our table, in our table, you can find, see, two records now. The record has been inserted. So very important interview question. What is the difference between create and update? When we go with create, it always drop existing tables. It's going to drop the existing tables and always create new tables. And when we go with update, use existing tables. Going to use existing tables, and if table does not exist, create new tables. So update also will create new tables for us, but only when the table is not existing. Only when the table is not existing, then only it is going to create the table for us. But when we go with create, it always thinks of new tables. It always goes with new tables. So that's about in this video. And in the next video, we'll be seeing how to go with update operation. How to update the records present in the table using Hibernate. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and share.